Hello and welcome to our presentation. This is the second episode in our general knowledge series, and I want to start by giving you a quick overview of Coventra. Coventra is a data and AI governance enablement firm. Our primary focus is building organizational literacy, strengthening governance culture, and supporting responsible data and AI practices. We explain governance in plain English, and we design our content so anyone can follow along, whether you're new to the topic or you're already working with data and AI. We offer multiple learning series, and this is one of our first of the general knowledge track. It's regarding AI. It's designed for people who are hearing about AI and AI governance at work or at school and want to understand what it actually means. This video is for functional team members across organizations that may not be directly involved in AI governance and in general like to know about AI. And if you're a career professional or student exploring opportunities in data space and AI space, this series will help you build foundational knowledge, especially if you're preparing for interviews or trying to understand where data governance and AI governance fits in bigger picture. As mentioned earlier, this series is one of the four that Goventra offers. We have our executive strategy series, everyday employee literacy series, technical governance trainings, and organizational capability and cultural series. We highly recommend that you look into our previous upload as well for additional information. We also help learners to get ready for exams like CDMP, PMP, and ITIL, and other governance-aligned credentials. A little bit about myself. I'm Mehdi Hashemi, Senior Director of Data and AI Governance Enablement here at Coventra. I have about 15 years of experience of data governance background across banking and managed healthcare with a strong focus on data ownership, stewardship, and governance maturity. I've worked extensively with AI governance as well, even though the term is still evolving in the industry, still figuring out what governing AI really means. A lot of my work has been around enterprise maturity assessment, executive roadmap development, and helping organizations build real governance capabilities. I'm PMP and CDMP certified, and I'm also a Scrum Master. Over the past few years, my focus has really been around data literacy, helping organizations understand data in practical and accessible way. And it's a pleasure to walk you through the content as we continue the series. So this is one of the million-dollar questions. What is AI really? Most people think they know. They use it every day. They feel like it's something super intelligent, but they don't actually understand what it is. AI simply is software that learns patterns from data. That's it. No magic, no consciousness, just pattern learning. And because of that, it's natural that AI becomes part of our companies, our tools, and even training processes. It makes predictions, it gives recommendations, and sometimes it even provides decisions. But here's the key point. AI doesn't think, it calculates. Your AI buddy might sound like it's thinking, but it's just really running math and data that it was trained on. And that leads to the biggest limitation. AI only knows what it's been trained on, nothing more, nothing outside the data set, nothing beyond the patterns that it has seen. And here's a twist. We are training AI every single day just by using it. Now, why does AI need governance? Well, think about it this way. Bad data creates bad decisions. Bad AI creates faster bad decisions. AI is a speed amplifier. It accelerates our processing, our workflows, and our applications, which means it also accelerates our risks. AI can make mistakes at scale. It can be biased. It can be misused. And it can expose sensitive data if we're not careful. For those of you who just joined our previous session, you already know this. If the underlying data is faulty, AI will confidently produce risky outcomes. That's why governance isn't optional. It's essential. So let's talk about your AI buddy, because everybody has one. I've even named mine. And honestly, most of us have multiple AI partners helping us through the day. We even use one here to clean a content to speed up the workflow for you guys. But at the end of the day, your AI buddy is really just super fast pattern finder. It looks patterns in data, nothing more, and tries to predict what comes next. It learns, By studying examples, thousands, millions. Show it enough photos of cats and it learns what the cat looks like. Show it enough customer questions and it learns how to answer them. Show it enough transaction and it learns what fraud looks like. Now, how does your AI buddy think? Well, it doesn't. AI doesn't reason, it calculates. And if you start believing it's reasoning, you're going to run into problems. AI looks at your prompt, compare it to patterns that it has seen before, and asks itself, what matches the situation? What usually comes next? What's most likely the answer? And I highlight this different color in the slide for a reason. The most likely answer is not always the correct answer. Your AI buddy's response depends entirely on two things: your prompt, the information you give it, its training data, the information it's seen before. So if either one of those are off, your prompt or underlying data, the answer will be off too. And that's why understanding how your AI buddy works is so important. So if AI is risky, why do we use it? Because the benefits are massive for society, individuals, and for businesses when it's done right. At the society level, AI improves public safety, advances healthcare, supports education, expands access, and helps us solve big, complex problems. These are things that genuinely move humanity forward. Individually, AI saves times, automates the boring stuff, and makes life easier. I use my AI buddy every day. It helps me think faster, write cleaner, and make better decisions. It also increases accessibility for people who need support. But here's a catch. If I'm making decisions based on AI, then I need guardrails. I need to ask the right questions and I need to understand how it's supporting me. Because if I rely on it blindly, that's where the risk shows up. For businesses, the benefits are huge. AI reduces costs, reduces errors, boosts productivity, improves customer experience, and strengthens risk management. It enables smarter, faster decision making across the entire organization. But this is important. Those same benefits come with mirror risks. AI can also create errors. It can misinterpret data, it can be misused, and if the underlying data is faulty again, the entire system becomes a risk amplifier. So if you were in the previous session, you remember we talked about data lifecycle. Well, AI has lifecycle too. And it's not magic, it's not mysterious, it's a simple process that every organization follows. It all starts with defining the problem. What is AI trying to solve? Is it an individual problem, a business problem, a prediction, a classification? Everything begins with clarity. Then we move into data preparation. And I highlight this for a reason. AI can't solve anything without data, and not just any data. It needs clean, unbiased, reliable data. This is where AI governance leans heavily on data governance. If data is wrong, the AI will be wrong. If the data is biased, the AI will be biased. If the data is incomplete, the AI will hallucinate to fill the gaps. After that, we create model and train the AI to learn patterns from the data. And we enter testing and validation where governance plays a major role. This is where we check for fairness, accuracy, bias, drift, and stability. Once it passes those checks, we move into deployment and into monitoring, updates, and retaining. This is where things get interesting because AI evolves. You can ask the same questions today, tomorrow, and 3 days from now, and you might get different answers. Why? Because the model has updated itself, retrained, or incorporated new patterns. And eventually, every model reaches to a point where it needs safely retired, shut down, archived, or replaced with something better. So at a high level, this is AI lifecycle, not magic, not a black box, not some deep technical mystery, just a structured process that every organization follows. And every step has governance wrapped around it. So why does AI need governance? We touched on this earlier, but this word slowing down here because it's one of the most important concepts in the entire series. At Goventra, we believe AI actually needs stronger governance than traditional data governance. Why? Because data governance is predictable. AI is not. AI behaves based on patterns, probabilities, and training data, and makes it far more unpredictable. So the guardrails have to be stronger. Remember, what we said earlier, bad data leads to bad decisions. Bad AI leads to faster bad decisions. AI can make mistakes at sales. Think about something like pre-authorization in healthcare. One wrong AI-generated denial can impact the patient's care. That's not a small mistake. That's a life-impacting error. AI can also be biased. It can be unintentionally misused. It can expose sensitive data. And all of this becomes more dangerous when the underlying data is faulty, which is exactly what we discussed in our previous session. So what happens when AI governance fails? You start seeing things like biased hiring sessions, incorrect medical recommendation, privacy violations, and what we sometimes call gremlins, and we refer to them as drifts. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. When AI underperforms or drifts, the risk multiplies quickly. That's why governance isn't optional, it is essential. So some of you might be wondering, why is AI different from just searching on Google? It's a great question, and it comes up all the time. When you search on Google, you get links, websites, articles, videos. Google doesn't break anything down for you. It doesn't analyze it. It doesn't summarize it. Google is a directory, not a thinker. You still have to read, compare, and decide. AI works completely different. AI gives you an answer. It reads across pattern and data and produces summaries, explanations, suggestions, and conclusion. It tries to give you the final answer, not a list of sources. And I highlighted the phrase final answer on purpose because you have to ask, is the final answer actually the correct answer? That's exactly why AI governance matters. That's why responsible AI practices are important. Because AI is confident, fast, and helpful, but is not perfect. And if we don't understand how it works, we can easily have false positive and false negative results. If you remember our earlier session, and I really encourage everyone to review those, we talked about data lifecycle and the foundation of data governance. Now we're going to connect that to AI governance because your relationship is direct. AI governance is built on top of data governance. Strong data governance equals strong AI governance. That's simple. Why? Because AI depends on accurate data, complete data. This is why exactly Coventra is pioneering the training organizations need. Before a company can implement AI governance, it has to make sure the underlying data environment is mature enough to support it. Otherwise, every risk area, bias, drift, misuse, and all of the exposures become amplified. Our role is to help organizations understand those risks, reduce them, and build the right framework so their data is strong enough to support responsible, reliable, and safe AI governance. Because without strong governance, AI governance simply cannot stand. So what does AI governance actually do? How is it different from data governance? Organizations approach this differently. Every consultancy has its own flavor, but at the core, AI governance is about a few universal principles. First is transparency. We need to know what the AI is doing, how is it doing, and why is it doing it. If we can't explain it, we cannot trust it. Second is accountability. Somebody has to be responsible. Just like data governance, ownership matters. AI doesn't get to operate without human being accountable for its outcomes and risk identification. AI introduces new types of risks, bias, drifts, and misuse, as well as instability. We need structured ways to identify those risks early, monitor them, and reduce them. Quality and drift monitoring is important. As AI models evolve and they change, they update, and if we don't monitor them, they can drift into dangerous territory without anyone noticing. Ethics and compliance, AI must be fair, unbiased, aligned with laws, regulation, and organizational values. It has to follow state, federal, industry requirement. And that's not optional. This is why AI governance exists. It's why banks monitor their fraud models, hospitals validate their diagnostic tools, HR teams double check their hiring algorithm, and that's why customer service needs guardrails to protect people. By now, the previous page should have built a mindset for you. AI is not something we can just set and forget. It needs structure, oversight, and responsible governance at every step. When it comes to roles and responsibility in AI, you're going to notice something familiar. It looks a lot like data governance. If you attended our previous session, this will feel very natural. You still need an owner, you still need a steward, but now you also need people who actually build the model. Your data scientists and machine learning engineers. Then you have risk and compliance who make sure guardrails are in place. And finally, every employee who uses AI becomes part of that responsibility chain. If you use AI, you're accountable for how to use it. So in many ways, AI governance mirrors data governance. And when it's done correctly, it should sit under the same umbrella. It cannot live in silo. If AI governance is disconnected from data governance, you create gaps, and those gaps turn into risks. At Coventra, we're strong advocates for a holistic approach. AI governance and data governance must work together, not separately. Because the moment they drift apart, the organization loses alignment, transparency, and control. This is why we teach companies to unify these disciplines. One governance philosophy, one structure, one set of responsibility, supporting both data and AI. All right, now let's talk about the part everyone worries about, the hidden dangers of AI. And honestly, in this entire training, this might be the most important slide. As organizations try to move faster, when your boss wants answer immediately, when your teacher wants something done right away, we naturally turn into AI to speed things up. But speed introduces hidden risks, especially when people starting to use shadow AI. Shadow AI is one of the biggest dangers. It's when employees use unapproved AI tools without oversight. They paste sensitive information to tools the company doesn't control, and suddenly confidential data is out there in the world, feeding a system that is always learning. Remember, AI is like a student. It's constantly observing whatever you give it. AI can also be confidentially wrong. It can produce answers that sound correct, but are completely inaccurate because the model was trained on flawed data, or the data underlying patterns were wrong. And there is bias. AI learns from data it is trained on. If the alphabet is learned from is wrong, everything that produces will be wrong. If the data is biased, the AI becomes biased. If the data is incomplete, AI fills the gaps, often incorrect. AI can also be manipulated. It can be tricked with misleading prompts, fake data, because remember, AI responds to whatever we ask. If the prompt is flawed, the answer will be flawed. And finally, AI can create overdependence. The more we rely on it, the more we risk losing our own skills. Think about handwriting. How many of us struggle to write with a pen now because we typed for so long? That's what overdependence looks like. And if we're not careful, AI can slowly erode our ability to think critically. These are high-level hidden dangers we want you to be aware of, not to scare you, but to help you use AI responsibly, safely, and with the right guardrails. So what is our role? Our role is to use AI responsibly in our everyday lives and our professional work. Personally, We need to verify information, protect our privacy, and be mindful of the data we share. We should use AI as helper, not a decision maker. And we have to stay away from bias because we can accidentally create bias, or the AI can reflect bias from its training data. Think critically. Treat AI responses like advice, not absolute truth. As we mentioned earlier, you can run into gremlins. Professionally, we must follow company policies. At Coventra, we help organizations build strong policies to protect confidential information because shadow AI creates really real exposure risk. Always validate AI outputs and use AI to enhance your judgment, not to replace it. And if you see unusual behavior, bias, or risky outputs, escalate those concerns to the right teams. As we showed in other videos, there are a lot of career paths, openings in AI governance. The space growing fast, and many of those roles are already established, while others are emerging as organizations mature. You see opportunities like AI governance analysts, ethics and responsible AI specialists, risk and compliance analysts, model risk managers, AI governance managers and directors, and chief AI governance officers. These roles are becoming essential as companies adopt AI and realize they need structure, oversight, responsible practices. I'm not going to go over the page in detail, but those of you who are really interested in going deeper into AI universe, especially on the technical developmental side, here are a few certifications worth exploring. Feel free to pause the video, take notes, and look into any of these programs in your own time. Now, our focus here in Goventra is always data governance perspective. That's our lane. That's where we build maturity, readiness, and responsible practices. But we also know some of you may want to expand your skills beyond governance. So we wanted to share these options as a starting point. Explore them if you align with your goals. And remember, no matter which path you take, the strong data governance will always be the foundation. When we think about the future of AI here at Goventra, we think about it in goals and trust. The philosophy of adaptation and agility, AI is here to stay. It's going to grow, it's going to improve, and it's going to move faster than society can keep up with. Humans have a maximum velocity, like falling at a terminal speed with a parachute. AI doesn't have that limit. So instead of rejecting AI, we need to become part of this ever-growing movement. We need to take ownership of how we can contribute, how to guide it, and how we manage it responsibly. We also have to recognize that we are number one teachers in the AI learning process. Our inputs, our behavior, our structure, that's what shapes these systems. That means oversight matters, governance matters, expectations matter. At Goventra, our approach to help organizations understand both the risks and the benefits, where friction happens, where anomalies appear, and how strategically reduce those risks while maximizing the real value of AI. We also have to accept that some jobs are being cut, not because AI is malicious, but because people aren't adapting to these new industries fast enough. That's why we all have personal responsibility to grow our knowledge, sharpen our expertise, and become part of the movement instead of fighting it. AI isn't replacing us, it's challenging us to evolve. And the people who embrace that will become the game changers. So let's do a quick recap of what we covered today. AI is a powerful tool, but it's not magic. It needs governance because the data underneath it is never perfect. And that's why understanding the difference between asking AI a question versus searching on Google matters. Google gives you links, AI gives you answers, and the answer isn't always correct. We highlighted the shadow AI is a real risk when employees are unapproved to use unapproved tools, sensitive data that can leak. Models can learn the wrong things and organizations lose control. We also reinforced that AI governance is built on strong data governance. If the foundation is shaky, AI will be shaky. We talked through the AI lifecycle, and just like data governance, it's a team sport. It takes a village. It needs structure, ownership, and guardrails to every stage. And finally, we talked about responsible AI. Responsible AI is not a tool, not a checklist. It's a culture. You cannot implement responsible AI without technology alone, and you need people, practices, and human-in-the-loop mindset guiding every decision. So as you leave this session, remember, AI is powerful, but it must be used responsibly. And that responsibility starts with governance, culture, and human judgment. We would like to thank you for watching this second episode of our high-level data governance training focused on AI governance. Remember, Goventra Academy is where governance becomes practical. Our mission is to build literacy and capability across organizations, from executive shaping strategies to employee applying governance in their workday. Follow our learning series to continue your journey. You'll see the series listed below. We'll be adding more, including upcoming track focused on tools and technologies to help you get familiar with platforms and support governance programs. Our contact information is below. We would love for you to join the channel, be part of the community, and stay connected. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified whenever the content is uploaded. We'll be posting continuously on a weekly basis. Thank you again for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to our email, and feel free to visit our website for additional information. Have a wonderful rest of the day.